Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. If you've ever been to Olive Garden or any other Italian style type restaurant here in America, you've probably seen and tasted their yummy breadsticks. And you've probably thought that since you go on a low carb diet, you're never going to have those tasty breadsticks again, right? Wrong. Today I am going to show you how to make a very quick, very easy keto version of the Olive Garden style breadsticks. This recipe is mixed, baked, ready to eat in under 20 minutes. It contains no yeast, so you do not have to wait around for your breadsticks to rise. When it comes to coconut flour, there's no point in using yeast because it does nothing for coconut flour. So if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So, while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Line a large baking sheet with parchment paper and then set it aside for a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 89 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum, and if you want to, you can add up to 2 teaspoons of dry Italian seasonings. Traditionally, the Olive Garden style breadsticks don't have any Italian seasoning in them. But since we're using coconut flour, I want to make sure that my breadsticks do not have any type of a coconut flour taste or any type of an egg taste. I want them to taste like actual bread. So I feel that the dry seasonings give the breadsticks a more traditional type flavor to them. But that is up to you whether you want to put that in or not. Whisk or sift the dry ingredients all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Now, whenever I have a recipe that calls for xanthan gum, I always have at least one person ask me if they can leave out the xanthan gum or substitute out the xanthan gum. In this particular recipe, I strongly suggest that you keep the xanthan gum in. It not only helps with binding the ingredients together, but it also helps act as gluten would, and it gives the dough some stretch, which for this recipe, you really need that stretch in order to shape your breadsticks into the actual breadstick shape. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so that they mix in smoothly. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until they're fully combined and all the dry ingredients have been lightly moistened with the eggs. If you have chosen to leave the xanthan gum out, then you'll most likely need to use 4 eggs rather than 3 eggs. You will have more of a wet dough by the time we get done adding everything rather than a stretchy dough. Add 136 milliliters or around 3/4 cup of olive oil. Stir the olive oil in until everything is fully combined and smooth. Add 1/4 cup of warm water. Make sure it is warm. This helps keep your dough soft and helps the xanthan gum to blend in better. So stir the warm water into the ingredients until it is fully combined and you have a smooth, lightly moist, lightly sticky dough. So again, if you've chosen to leave the xanthan gum out and add the extra egg instead, you are going to have a little bit different texture. And if you have chosen to leave the xanthan gum out, then you won't need the 1/4 cup of warm water. The warm water helps to activate the xanthan gum so that you have a slightly sticky dough so that it will stretch more so that you can shape it better. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push all the dough to the center of the bowl and form it into a ball. Then lightly moisten your hands and massage the ball in your hands for about 1 minute. This is going to help activate the xanthan gum better so that it can bind your ingredients all together, and it will help give your dough more of a stretch so that you can shape it easier, and it will expand more when it bakes, so you will have a bigger, fluffier breadstick. If it does seem like the dough is sticking to your hands a little bit, just lightly moisten your hands when you handle the dough. Once you've massaged the dough for about 1 minute, roll it back into a ball, place it back into your mixing bowl, and allow it to sit for about 5 minutes. This is just to let all the ingredients settle in together so that they bind together well. After the dough has sat for 5 minutes, we're going to test the dough to make sure of the texture. Just take a small portion of the dough and roll it around in your hands a little bit. If it's coming together smoothly, then you know you have the right texture. Also, kind of stretch it a little bit, roll it into a longer log. That way you can tell if the xanthan gum is holding together properly. You should be able to roll it into a log and it kind of stretch a little bit without it falling apart. If you've left that xanthan gum out, you will not have that stretchiness. Once you're sure of your texture, scoop the dough out around 3 to 4 tablespoons at a time and roll it around in your hands until it starts forming a smooth ball. Make sure you get all the cracks out of it. It's nice and smooth. Then roll the dough into a log that's about 1 to 1.5 inches thick, or your desired size, whatever size breadstick you think you're going to want. Now, generally, coconut flour bread recipes do not expand very much. This particular recipe, because of the amount of baking powder we're using and because of the xanthan gum, your breadsticks do expand a good amount here. So make sure when you're shaping these and putting them on your baking sheet that you are keeping them about 2 inches apart, because like I said, you do need space for them to expand. They do puff up very nicely. Now, if you have chosen to keep the xanthan gum out and you used an extra egg instead of the xanthan gum, instead of trying to shape a breadstick form, it would work best for you just to press the dough into an 8 by 8 inch lined cake pan and then just cut the dough into about 6 sticks. Once your breadsticks are all shaped and they're on your baking sheet around 2 inches apart, place in your preheated oven and bake at 400 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes or until the breadsticks are golden on the outside. Once the breadsticks are done baking, remove them from your oven. Allow them to cool in the pan for just a couple minutes so you don't burn your fingers. And while they're cooling for a couple of minutes, in a small bowl, melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Add a half teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Use a fork and stir these all together until they're fully combined and the garlic powder and the salt are evenly distributed throughout the butter. Then brush the garlic butter generously over the tops of the breadsticks. You can put as little or as much of the garlic butter as you want on the breadsticks. Then if you want to, you can sprinkle a little bit of shredded Parmesan over the top of the garlic butter. Allow the breadsticks to cool on the pan for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, transfer them to a wire rack. You can serve them immediately with some extra garlic butter or some marinara or pizza sauce to dip them in, or you can allow them to cool completely. If you do have any leftovers, allow them to cool completely and you can store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days or in your refrigerator for up to 1 week. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.